Hi again and welcome back. Today I'm going to make some bread rolls for lunch. I've tried this recipe a couple of times and usually the bread turns out a little bit purple because of the type of psyllium husk I've been using, but I never know which is the right one or wrong one to use. But whether we have purple bread or a brownie looking bread, it doesn't matter, the taste is still really nice. So we'll get going, hey? So what I'm going to need is some almond flour, and this is it here, and a bowl to put it all into. So I need 1 1/4 cups of almond meal or almond flour. That's my 1/4 cup measurement. 2. So that's 1 1/4 cups of almond meal, and then I need some psyllium husk. Now I did just mention to you that you can get a purple psyllium or one that doesn't make the bread go purple. The one that I've got here, I'm not sure if you can see in the container. Actually, I'll open the other one up as well. So this is a brand I haven't tried yet. I got it at the local IGA today. But you can see that this is actually a lot more of a fawny colour. So it actually looks like breadcrumbs. So it's really pale. Whereas this one here, which is the one I've actually been using to make this bread, when it's in the jar you can actually kind of see a purplish hue to it. So I think I'll know next time when I'm looking at the shops which one to look for. But yeah, this is the one that's going to give me purple bread. Still tastes good. And we'll see what colour the bread turns out here. Maybe I'll put some green food dye in and we can have green bread. Anyway, I need 5 tablespoons of psyllium husk powder. This one's actually a lot more coarsely ground than the other one is. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. I use this one because it's gluten free, and we do have some gluten free people in our family. So I need 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons. And 2. And I need some salt. So I need about a teaspoon of salt, so I'll just grind that in there. And that's all I need for my dry ingredients. I better boil the kettle. So what I need now is some cider vinegar, some eggs, and a cup of boiling water. So the kettle's just boiling at the moment. I've got my dry ingredients all ready to go. And a couple of bowls for the eggs. So I need to separate the eggs. So that's three eggs separated. I'll set this aside. I'll probably use this in an omelette or a lemon curd or something like that I'll make later. And I have my egg whites. So I just want to mix the egg whites. I'll fluff them up a bit. So I've mixed the egg whites up. They don't need to be stiff peaks or anything like that, just a little bit fluffy. And I need some red wine vinegar. I don't want red wine vinegar, I want cider vinegar. I have so many different vinegars in this house, it's hard to keep up. So I need some apple cider vinegar, just 2 teaspoons. And I'll mix that in here. So this will go quite thick very quickly because of the psyllium husk that's in here. Mix that around and I'll add 1 cup of boiling water. So there's just 1 cup of boiling water, put that in there. And just mix that quickly. So you don't want to overmix this, just for about 30 seconds or so until it's all combined, so it just looks like a nice blob of sludge. Tasty though. Now I've already turned the oven on to 175 degrees Celsius, I think that's about 350 Fahrenheit, and I'll roll this up. I'll just let it bind a little bit more so it's easier to roll up, so I'll just let that sit for a few minutes, and I'll get my baking tray, get rid of all this. So I've got my baking tray, bit of baking paper, and I've just sprayed that lightly as well. So in a few minutes I will roll this up into some balls. Alright, so I've got my dough here and I'm ready to roll this up into balls or bullets, whatever you like. So I've got a bowl of warm water here just to keep my hands nice and wet so that it's easier to mould these rolls. And it's quite warm too, the mixture. So I'm just going to make these into round rolls like this. So they're only about the size of the palm of my hand. You can make them as big as you like, but I think I'll be happy with this. The more I make, the more often we get to eat it, so we don't have to have a great big amount straight away. We can just have 2 or 3. So we might have for lunch today some fried bacon and some egg. Cut this open, nice hot butter, or nice butter inside the hot rolls. This has probably been the best bread recipe I've tried so far. I've been playing around with lots of different recipes for the past couple of years and just nothing's been right. But this one's the closest that we've come to having something bready. And we don't have it very often. We do stick to mostly low carb foods. Well, this is still low carb anyway. I have tried this as a loaf. Didn't quite work out though. I think it was a little bit flat and dry, but then I probably changed the ingredients too. That sometimes makes a huge difference, doesn't it? I'm notorious for changing recipes, even my own. So I've made 8 rolls now. If you want smaller ones, you can make this go further, but I think this is going to be a good size. Alright, so I'm going to sprinkle some linseed on top of this. I would normally put some sesame seed or salt crystals, but I might just put some linseed on top today. So I've got my linseed. Linseed is flax, I think. Is it? Yes, linseed is flax. So you can buy it in seed form which is just little seeds like this. Sometimes I can't find the flax that I like to have in the shop. I'll just grind this up and use it as a meal, or a flax flour, and use that in my breads and things like that. So I'm just going to sprinkle some flax on the top. Something a little bit crunchy. This is actually going to be a nice crispy bread too. And I think I'll just put some salt on the top too, because I like salt. Alright, ready to go into the oven. So this is going into the oven, as I said, on 175 degrees Celsius. For about 40 to 50 minutes. So when it's getting close, if you just tap it and it sounds hollow, then you'll be right. We'll see you soon. So the rolls are done. They've been in the oven for about 55 minutes. I just had to put them in for an extra 5 minutes or so because they were still a little bit doughy on the inside. Sounds a bit hollow, so it's done. So these are probably double the size of what they were when I first started rolling them up and putting them on the tray. And we're going to have these in just a few minutes for lunch. It's hot. There you go. Beautiful, steamy bread. It's such a nice texture too. You could eat it just like this. But we've got some butter. It's going to melt lots of butter in there and have our bread rolls. Have fun making them. So lunch is just about ready. I've got my bread rolls cut in half. Put a nice dab of butter on there. We need bacon, eggs and cheese. So I think I'll put the eggs down first. So I've just fried a few eggs, flipped them over. Some bacon. Actually, I put the cheese next, so I want the heat of the eggs and the bacon to melt the cheese. And I'm just using a sliced cheese that's tasty, it's quick, and it's nice and thin. And a nice big rasher of bacon on each one. Not very pretty, but it'll be tasty. And there we have it. Some bacon, egg and cheese rolls. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we're going to. Stay tuned for the recipe.